Welcome to my closet. I feel kind of weird being in my closet, but I don't know where else to go. So, have you ever had a day that you just feel like maybe the world's out to get you, or the devil's out to get you, um, or just you just feel like you just woke up on the wrong side of the bed and nothing goes right? You know, your kids are getting on your nerves. Can we say that? I mean, can we be honest and say that? I know you're thinking it. But just that things that just don't go right, that every little thing frustrates you. You just want to cry, but you don't really have a reason behind it. You haven't had anything in particular that's really happened, or anything that necessarily that you can put your finger on that's made you upset or mad, or that's really bothered you. But you're just in a bad mood. You think of things, like you're writing a blog, and the devil fights you, thinking nobody reads it. You're not helping anybody. Nobody comments on it. You don't these things that you're doing, you're not doing the right thing, you missed something somewhere, God's really not going to use you, and then, just different little things. I'm just letting you into my world today. Is that okay? Um, I've got a friend back home that is doing something really successful for God, and, I was a part of it before we moved, and, it's really taken off since I left, and I'm proud of her, and I'm excited, but, the devil's using it as, well, it's because you left. It's because if you were still there, it wouldn't be going the way it is, and just every little thing, he's just getting in my face. The devil's just getting in my face about it today. I don't really know why, but obviously to discourage you. That's why he does stuff like that. But I was just praying earlier. I'm like, God, I just have felt so distant today. I'm just, Gary's working, the kids are here, and just, I have felt so distant from God today, and I really don't understand why. I haven't done anything. I haven't. There's nothing, there's no hidden sin between me and God that I know of, that I can think of, and it's just really bothered me today, the way I felt. And I'm like, God, please just be with me. Just speak to me. Just, show me something in your word. Show me something. I need to feel you today. I don't know if you've ever felt like that. I know I have, but, and then it wasn't, but just a little while later, Landon, we had like a family afternoon, me and the kids. We laid on the floor and pulled out all the cushions and watched a movie, and Landon was trying to put the cushions back, and these things are like 2 or 3 times as big as he is, so it's almost impossible for him to pick them up by himself. So I come up behind him, and I take my hands and I put them kind of behind his arms, and I grab the cushion, I pick it up, and I help it get back on the couch. And so he looks at me just smiling and grinning and excited, and running around, and we go to the next one and stuff, and again I put my hands behind his, and I help him lift it up there. And instantly it made me think, that's what God does with us. When we're having these days like this, when we're struggling and just the world everything just seems impossible for that day, God comes behind us and he puts his hands behind our hands and he helps us do the thing that we're called to do. And it made me think, I'm going to grab my iPad real quick, about the story in 2 Kings 13 where Elisha is sick and he's dying, and Joash is coming down, and let me just read it to you. Jensen Franklin talked about this during the fast a while back, and it was just really awesome. I'm glad God reminded me of it today. Verses 14 through 19. When Elisha became sick with the illness of which he was to die, Joash the king of Israel came down to him and wept over him, and said, my father, the chariots of Israel and its horsemen. Elisha said to him, take a bow and arrows. So he took a bow and arrows. Then he said to the king of Israel, put your hand on the bow. And he put his hand on it. Then Elisha laid his hand on the king's hands, and he said, open the window toward the east. And he opened it. Then Elisha said, shoot. And he shot. And he said, the Lord's arrow of victory, even the arrow of victory over Aram, for you will defeat the Arameans and Apac until you have destroyed them. Then he said, take the arrows. And he took them. And he said to the king of Israel, strike the ground. And he struck it 3 times and stopped. So the man of God was angry with him. He's talking about Elisha. Elisha was angry with him and said, you should have struck the ground 5 or 6 times. Then you would have struck Aram until you had destroyed it. But now you strike Aram only 3 times. And so it just made me think, sometimes we just do the bare minimum, and we don't strike, the devil the way that we should. We don't continue fighting. We just, one time we do something and we just let it go and we're done with it. And instead we should continue to strike. We should strike him over and over and over again. When these thoughts start coming into our mind, and we get frustrated and we get down and out, we have to continue. We have to continue to say, get thee behind me, Satan, and all that. My kids are trying to get in, so I'm going to have to make this the end of this, but just continue to speak the word of God, and don't let the devil discourage you. Whatever you have to do, get in the word, read it out loud to him, so you're you know, you're smacking him in the face with the word the way he's smacking you in the face with all these things. And I just encourage you to live life unscripted today, and let God speak to your heart, and just renew your soul.